The whereabouts of a top Russian military general have been unknown to the public since Saturday, sparking speculations regarding his involvement in the recent mutiny by the mercenary group Wagner. General Sergei Surovikin, the ruthless one-time leader of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, was last seen telling the Wagner group mercenaries to stop their uprising. In an uncomfortable appeal likened to a hostage video, according to reports, the U.S. officials say that he appeared to have advanced knowledge of Wagner leader Prigozhin's plans for an armed mutiny in which Wagner mercenaries captured the city of Rostov and headed towards Moscow before cutting an amnesty deal. The President Vladimir Putin later likened the mutiny to an attempted civil war. Observers suspect that Surovikin and some other Russian officials might have facilitated Prigozhin's revolt. This, if confirmed, may explain the Russian army's lukewarm response to the mutiny. While the mutiny went on, concerns of a potential coup persisted. President Joe Biden said that it was difficult to determine the impact of the mutiny on President Putin's position, as senior generals, including Surovikin, reaffirmed their support to the Kremlin. Although the well-publicized links between Surovikin and Prigozhin have fueled rumors that the latter may be purged or put under investigation for supporting the mutiny. But what is known is that when the Wagner fighters began their quote-unquote march for justice, Surovikin had urged the mercenary group to end its hostilities and return to their bases. While Prigozhin is currently in Belarus, Surovikin's whereabouts remain unknown. For more on this, we are being joined by Edward P. Joseph from Washington, D.C. He's a fellow at the Johns Hopkins University. Thank you so much, Edward, for joining us on WION, and welcome back. There have been so much speculations about the future of Russia after these recent incidents, but many believe that we should not rule out Russian President Vladimir Putin, for now at least. Your thoughts?
Well, look, the one thing that we know is that Vladimir Putin emerges from this startling, remarkable armed uprising weakened. There's just simply no way of avoiding that fact. There's, regardless of any conjecture, speculations about the murky relationships of Prigozhin and potentially General Surovikin, who, as your piece mentioned, it has not been seen for a while. Regardless of all of those speculations, the bottom line is that Vladimir Putin is weakened from this. He faced an armed uprising. There has been no punishment so far for Yevgeny Prigozhin, the head of the Wagner Group, who has been sent to Belarus. And this is an open challenge to the authority of President Putin, who himself called out this and said this was treasonous. And yet he has let Mr. Prigozhin go into Belarus. So regardless of the speculations, Vladimir Putin is weakened. This is a clear demonstration of severe disarray and disaffection within the military ranks of Russia about the conduct of this catastrophic war launched by President Putin. Please.
And let me just follow up on that. EU's Joseph Borrell says that a weaker Russian President Putin would pose a greater danger ultimately to the world. Would you agree with that?
These type of comments are not helpful, and they're very confusing. Obviously, President Putin is a dangerous character in a stronger state. It was in a position of relative strength when everyone thought of Vladimir Putin as this strategic master genius, that he launched the war. So how does a weakened Putin become more dangerous than an empowered Putin who launched this disaster that has really had global implications, including, of course, for those who are watching, your many viewers around the globe who are watching in their own countries. This was a unilateral, catastrophic decision, unprovoked by Ukraine, by Russia, in the person of Vladimir Putin, to attack and create all these global consequences. So he did that, Putin, in a strengthened state. So how is he more dangerous now in a weakened state? yes, he may feel threatened and weakened and may want to demonstrate his power. I'm speaking about President Putin, but fundamentally, he has been weakened. And that means his capacity to mobilize the forces that he needs to threaten the West are challenged to some degree. So, yes, he may be in some panicky mode, but either way, he is in a weakened position. And I think the main point here is really for those countries and leaders who have been on the fence, and that includes India and India Prime Minister Modi, who've been on the fence about Russia, to get off the fence and to understand that the only solution here is further isolation of President Putin. And that is what will move towards serious negotiations and an end to this catastrophic war. Please.
Okay, Edward P. Joseph, joining us from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for those comments, and we'll speak to you very soon.
You're welcome.